Well, hi there, everyone. Ken Kellogg here, sharing with you again. Let's have a great time. Try to make this as painless as possible. We've got a bunch of things going on this week. Kind of a crazy, crazy week. Hurricanes. Oh my gosh, we have Harvey, Irma, and about to hit Florida, and Jose right behind that. And we had an 8.1 earthquake in Chiapas, Mexico. So please pray for all those people, or send good thoughts, or whatever it is you do. Tough times. So anyway, moving forward, at the end of this video today, I have an interview that Ray Normandin and I did a few years back with Tim Russ, who, if you don't know who that is Tuvok. Yep, Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager. Great actor, did a lot of really good stuff, and it's a neat interview. I've interviewed over 100 people, and Tim Russ is one of the best ones I've ever done. He was a neat guy. We were going to take up 35 minutes of his time. He drove all the way down from LA to Orange County. Taping session lasted about 40 minutes or so, and then he just hung out with us, and it was so cool. I mean, for 3 hours we're in the studio, bringing in drinks, coffee, whatever, and it was a good time. People would come in and take pictures, and he was very cool with that. But we got a lot of insight into the guy and what a neat person he is. So I'm going to play that. Well, I'm going to play about 10 minutes of that video. The 35 minutes was a bit too long just to post up on here. Maybe we'll play the rest at another date. I'm also going to post in the next couple of weeks, probably, some karate videos with me and my students, and us doing some of our karate stuff, just to get kind of a handle on what it is I do here. In our book of the week this week, oh yeah, right here. Yep, good one. It's by it's called The Justice Riders, obviously, and it's by a guy named Chuck Norris, something like that. Yeah, that's him. Yep, D. Chuck Norris. It's a good book. It's not what you expect. Everybody's expecting Walker, Texas Ranger. It's not, but it's a very good Western action adventure book. So that's my pick for the week. My hat for this week, check it out. Orange County International Raceway. Yep. If you haven't been there, then you just haven't lived in Orange County long enough. We used to go out there on Wednesday nights, and we were able to race through the racetracks. They had grudge matches on Wednesday nights, but you could go out there on the weekends and see, drag races and funny cars, and very cool. Right off of Sand Canyon here, and the 405, which is now houses and a hospital and stuff like that. But I'm trying to find some pictures and see if I have any old films or anything of the raceway. If I do, I'll post those later. But fun times for sure. Ha! Here we go. Check out the shirt today. They call me Papa, 'cause too cool to be Grandpa. Not 100% sure what that means, but anyway, it's cool. All right, listen, everyone, have a good week. Stay blessed. We'll talk to you in a little bit. And now, Tim Russ. Well, today we're talking with our very special guest, Tim Russ. Now, Tim is best known for Star Trek Voyager, Enterprise. He's also the only actor to ever appear with 7 different captains. How about that? He's done lots of other movies, such as Live Free, Die Hard, Generations, Samantha Who, a bunch of other things. So, Ray and I are here. Our special guest, Tim Russ. Hi, Tim, and welcome to the program.
How are you guys doing? And thank you very much for having me on.
Our pleasure. Now, acting is not just one day you appeared on the set and there you were. Tim Russ got to be a star. It's a long haul for you.
It is quite a long haul. Actually, I started when I was 16. And while I was in college, I was lucky enough to get professional work in my junior year in the city I was in, which was Austin, Texas, and got my SAG card there, and eventually moved out to Los Angeles in 1981 to pursue it. And it's a long, hard slog, and people don't realize that, if they see you as a regular on a series or, big movies at some point in time, there's a track record that came before that. There was a lot of ups and downs and a lot of difficulties, a lot of rejection, a lot of, as it were, that showbiz kind of moments where things, happen that are setbacks or... and so it's a long, hard trip to get to that point. It really is.
Oh, sure it is.
Now, with that in mind, Tim, when you came to California, what was your first? You remember your first gig that you got?
The first job I got when I came to California was actually it was an industrial, piece that was done by a company, in-house training film by Human Resources in this company, and I was hired to play one of the employees. and it paid pretty well for at that time for the couple of days that I worked on it. It paid really well, and just after that, I worked on a couple of plays. It was an original musical version of this performance or whatever, and so the very first paid gig that was really good was the Industrial, and that was great.
Okay. Now, when people see a series like Voyager, and then all of a sudden they don't see it anymore, they kind of wonder, well, whatever happened to that guy? What's he doing? So tell us, what are you doing?
Right now, I'm playing music from time to time. I have my own band. It's under my name, Tim Russ. Also talking about directing a project perhaps in Michigan. It's a faith-based feature film. And also working on a Star Trek independent film called Renegades, which is slated to try to shoot probably September this year. So those are all projects that are on the back burner. And in the meantime, reading for episodics. I've done a couple since the beginning of the year, 2 or 3 since the beginning of the year, doing that as well. So, and some voiceover work as well. I'm with an agency called CESD. I just finished voiceovers for the Atlanta Falcons. We did about 3 or 4 of those for their football team during the season. And just did about 3 for LA Tourism, which is basically promoting tourism in Los Angeles. So we just did 3 of those. And Voyager's gone off the air. What's happened as a result of being on that show, because it elevates your profile in terms of the entertainment business. It gives you some kind of, foundation, a name, quote unquote, if you will. And from being on that show, you end up getting, it ends up, morphing into a lot of different types of roles and projects and opportunities that people will approach you about, because you were on the show. And again, opens these doors. So whether it's voiceover work, which I wasn't doing prior to that series, directing, I wasn't doing prior to that series, even in helps with the music as well. All those things have sort of come out of being on that show simply because your profile in the business has been elevated to a certain level, and that I kind of enjoy. At the beginning of the week, I might be doing a voiceover. By the end of the week, I might be playing a music gig, and in between, I might be directing something. And be able to go from one to the other, to me, is actually more exciting, than anything right now.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Now, do you ever go to any of those Star Trek convention type things anymore?
Absolutely. I've been doing conventions for 17 years. Ever since the very first couple of months of Voyager, after it came on the air, we booked conventions. I do averages of maybe 5 or 6 a year. Generally, I do about 5 or 6 a year, and they're pretty big shows.
Oh, yeah.
They are all over the world, from Australia all the way to Great Britain, Germany, Italy, cruise ships, all parts of the U.S., and they've been going on consistently since I started the show. I have to say, it's strange, because since the show's been off the air, they still want you to come. They still want you to come to these shows as a guest. And there's nothing really that on the air that's new.
Oh, yeah. I would if there wasn't so many people. It's just, it's too crowded for me. Too many people. Like, I don't want to go through that.
You mean as a guest, or you want people to come see you?
Yeah, as a guest. I don't wear makeup and they think I'm a Klingon.
What got you interested in that, and how did you start? And did your parents support you with that?
Yeah, my mother used to sing in a gospel choir in New York City. And I got that bug at that time. I taught myself a lot of what I know now, and just started performing. And eventually, like I said, I was able to make a living, to make money at it anyway, doing that. And then eventually, when I moved to L.A., put together a band at that point in time, early on.
I've heard you guys talking about, I'm a little confused about a song with an Easter egg or something. I didn't quite get all that.
Apparently on the collection, the DVD collection, I think it is, there's a quote-unquote Easter egg on there that has a video from a song that I wrote called Kushangaza. It's actually Swahili for amazing. And it's on there, a little video that we recorded. It was with another, like a production company out in the Valley. We did it a long time ago, and we shot it then. And I can't remember what it was done for at that time, but it's still out there.
It is still out there. Ray played it for me today. It's beautiful.
It's a really nice song.
Thank you.
We'll actually play a little bit of it later on the show.
Thank you.
As we get to the end, that's what we'll actually go out with. You'll hear that on the way out today.
Cool.
What was a couple of the first things you ever directed? Was it for Voyager?
Yes, the very first professional directing job I had was for Voyager. It was one of the episodes.
Right.
And Living Witnesses was the name of the episode. And up to 3 years in all the different production areas before you could get a chance to get behind the camera. And I was very lucky to draw that story. It's still one of my favorite stories out of the series, and I was lucky enough to get it. Yeah, that was the first one. And it was great to be able to work with the cast in that capacity, because in the story we all get to play the nasty bad versions of ourselves, which every series always has something like that in it. So it was a kick in the pants, and everybody was really cool about it, directing in that. But they also, when they played the nasty versions of themselves, which they hadn't done before, and that was also just about as easy as it could be, because they know what to do. They bring it to the table. It's if you're working with professional actors, whether it's that project or even the shorts films I've done, and when you hire them, half the battle as a director is to get the right cast member in. And 9 times out of 10, if they're cast according to who they are and their personality and their characters, the way they walk and talk, even that, they're going to bring that to the table. And so all you have to do is roll camera. And then the notes and adjustments are, here and there, this moment, let's play this moment differently. Let's try it, more subtle. Let's try it bigger. And just do it like that until you get a variety of those things and move on. It's not like you have to, try to dig, and if you cast it properly. Being an actor, I know which ways to communicate those suggestions, as it were.
Yeah. Well, getting behind the scene to be a director is not just because you were a star on the show and you got cast in that part and they said, I want to be a director, and so they let you. You had to work at it. You had to stay after. And
Definitely, yeah. They did give me the opportunity, and Rick Berman, I have to say that my hat's off to him. On every one of his shows, people had a chance to direct.
And you liked it.
It was great. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, you don't sleep very well for that week and a half or whatever, but it definitely is, it's rewarding to be able to have a chance to work with a big professional crew like that as well. Complicated. That's a much greater challenge than the one as an actor, whereas an actor is very, very, and so this is, as a director, you get a chance to interpret, so you have to come up with a way in which, this is going to be the most interesting, and then you get a chance to work with people as the writers, the art directors, the actors, the editors, the DP, a chance to, they all contribute to what that image is going to be when it's done, even down to wardrobe. Everything it amazes me that these projects ever actually get done. And if they're good, they're going to put it together in a way that you didn't see it. Trek feature we did with Walter Koenig, and I had a scene that was a very intense speech that he made about his wife. And all I wanted to make sure was it in focus, and did we get it? And it was amazing, because you had a professional who knew what he was doing.
That's a whole nother view of everything, and as the director, you really get to see everything, the whole picture.
Yes.
You're not just you do your scene and do your lines and do the best you can, but as a director,
the whole thing, absolutely the whole thing, and it's you've got the script. Sometimes the writer's there as well, and you guys can work on some things. But editorially is really, when it comes to the editor, that's how your piece is going to flow, man. And you might not know what will work the best. When you're directing, you generally think like an editor in terms of putting the scene together, in terms of angles and pieces, and the pace, and also the basic structure. If you change that around, man, all of a sudden, you might have something that you didn't even see coming. And it's like you sit back and go, I never even saw that.
So that's where the editors are separate.
The editors are absolutely, they're golden. Grabbing me, It's not something I really want to, that I really feel strongly about, either in terms of melody or in terms of the lyric content as well. There's two things. I mean, it's the style of the song, the melody of the song, the structure of it, etc., and then the lyrics as well, what the point of the tune is. So there are several in which, I tend to gravitate towards songs that have a little bit more of an edge to them. They might be a little bit deeper, they might be a little darker, they might be a little bit, a little bit more emotional, rather than the ones that are just happy love songs. Or a commentary on the human condition, something along that lines. TimRussWebpage.com. Basically, if you Google my name, it's the first thing that comes up. So TimRussWebpage.com. I have all my appearances on there, my musical appearances, the conventions are all on there. I have 3 charities that I support that are on there. All I ask is that they contribute to my charities in return. They can pick and choose whichever charity they want in return for that, and that's all I ask. So it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Tim, for being on the program. We super appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Great guest, a lot of fun.
It's my pleasure.